Alright, so now that we know what happened to Batman, we're gonna find him and finally finish off Arkham City once and for all.
What?
Yes, you got a problem with that?
For a moment, I thought you were gonna say, like, what's in for... Ooh, what's this?
Don't worry.
I thought I was gonna Tim, have you found him? I haven't found him, but I just had a psychic flashback that I think has told me exactly where he is.
5 minutes with the bat. That's all I need.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you can endure that 5 minutes, good sir.
Oh, sure. Also, yes, how lovely. Oh,
Ooh.
how
That's
lovely.
my bad, I let go too early.
No worries, and yeah, how lovely. A shrine room.
Well, yeah, it's Harley.
I mean, would you expect any less of her? And this is, and trust me, this isn't the weirdest we've seen.
Stop it!
Yeah, I'm not particularly good at doing those nice counters sometimes.
Sorry, I don't know why. I just kind of sounded so
Ooh.
classic nerdy. Stop with the knives, please.
Stop.
I'm Robin.
They really cut deep.
Hi, Robin here. I'm sorry.
You see what I did there, Sly? Yes, I saw what you did there, Bentley.
It's just like, oh my god, stop,
Oop.
you're hurting me, owie.
Actually, I'm sorry. We're creating all these dumb head cannons like Bentley. Like, you see that, Sly? He's like, yes, I did see that, Bentley. And Murray's like, I'm so proud of him.
That's our boy.
I'm sorry. Oh, looks like we found Batman.
Yes, he is.
He's literally in the heart of this random Joker robot.
Some kind of
Are we gonna have to
monument
fight this
Joker
dumb-looking
stopping
Joker
you from getting
robot?
Batman.
This robot,
This
no.
place, she's crazier than we thought.
Hmm.
I'm gonna search the area and try to work out.
Okay, so basically what we have to do is that Batman is trapped in that thing. He's pretty much in some kind of like meditative stance to pretty much, help him, stay preserved in it. But he's also in a bit of a pressure plate here, where if he's in there for too long, he'll run out of oxygen and pretty much die.
Security panel.
Well, the fact that he's been stuck in there for as they put it, 2 days, like he looks like he could have been worse off.
Right. No, there is like some sort of meditative. I've seen a couple escape artists do this whenever they're doing like those, whenever they're doing those tricks which have them being submerged underwater for a long enough time. It's like it is kind of, like I said, it's like some sort of meditative trance you put yourself in where your body uses a far less oxygen because it's producing far less carbon dioxide and stuff.
Pretty much run out of options.
Dude.
Yeah, you're
Okay,
screwed,
so-
all right.
Oh yeah, so what I did right there, it's honestly something I don't use too often. That is a snap flash, where Robin can pretty much plant a little, like, mini, non-lethal explosive onto something, and pretty much can incapacitate people.
Okay. And we just gotta get past this turret.
Well, not a turret, a sniper.
Ow!
Do.
Stop it!
I could do this all day. Okay, maybe I can't do this all day.
Get to cover! And the guy's like, and the guard's sitting there going, should I tell the boys though what I just saw? I don't know. I'm sure they'll
I mean, it's just bird brain. Who cares about him?
Now here's another thing that you will need to use the snap flash for. You can also use it for traps, because you see these moving cranes?
Oh, after a
One
while,
of-
the next shift.
The next shift, it'll fall behind this guy.
Nice. Surprise! Oh, this is awkward. I found him like this. Oh,
Did you guys want to turn? You should have lined up.
oh, geez, and now the Commando Tinker Toy guys are replaced with the frickin' football quarterbacks.
Oh,
I'm assuming that's what that football guy is supposed to replace, like the commanders with like the frickin' nutcracker hats.
yeah, it's basically just the pad enemies that you need to use, like, stronger beatdowns on.
Gotcha.
You've been messed up by Red Robin.
Yum. I have a question.
What's up?
Something just to get us thought-provoked and engaged. So we know that, I've voiced Harley in some fan projects, and Steve has voiced Joker, and sometimes... who else have you voiced?
I think a few occasions Killer Croc, but if you don't mind, I want to put a tag on that for just a little bit, Jordan, and explain this. This is basically a somewhat more advanced version of the Two-Face boss fight, where you can take out Mooks if you want to, but your main focus is taking out Harley. However, the big difference is that this whole encounter will not stop if you just take out Harley. You definitely need to take out her, but you also do need to clear out everyone else after you beat Harley.
Okay, so
Gotcha.
better to just, single it out. Can she call for backup?
She can, and just like with Two-Face, she also can be able to, like, shoot out rockets with that little teeny pistol she has.
That's a rocket pistol?
Well, I imagine it's one of the Joker's tricks.
Dude.
Almost thought you got her head embedded into the fence. And then, now, how well does stealth work on her?
Now, as far as stealth goes, here's a tip. Do not go immediately to the gargoyle grapples, because they actually will try to shoot them down immediately. What you want to do is basically kind of take a more longer roundabout way of getting to the gargoyles instead of just immediately grappling up to them.
Okay, and of course no insta-kill takedowns, you gotta... Well, anyway, so back to you, Jordy.
Okay, so
With Killer Croc and stuff.
yeah, the question I was asking was like, so I know I voiced Harley in fan projects. Steve has voiced Joker and Killer Croc. I'm curious, what hero or what Batman hero or villain do you think you guys would like to try to voice or think you could voice?
Actually, I do remember one other thing. You did voice Ivy at least once.
Yeah, I did voice Ivy once, and I tried out Catwoman for a 6 Voices challenge.
I could... And of course, there she goes, just blindly firing. I'm not over there. Hint, hint.
Dude.
Is there...
I'm over there.
I could... I could see myself... I could see myself having fun with Two-Face.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun for you to do.
We should try it
Two-Face
sometime.
Or, trying to think. Like, okay, random thought. Is there any iteration of Two-Face where the whole, two sides of him are more separate? Like, is there an iteration of Two-Face where he does have some sort of form of split personality?
There are some, but it's more so some of the more comedic takes on him, like Justice League action.
Gotcha.
Well, didn't this version of Two-Face that we saw in Arkham City kind of have a split personality?
Well, a lot of iterations do, but Logan was asking more for an iteration that plays it up for laughs.
Well, I don't know about for last, but just in the sense of like, because I do like the idea of having like the more sensible, level-headed, and then the more crazed and all that kind of voice crack aside, crazed and hell-bent version of a voice.
Well, I was about to say, like, a lot of Harveys do that. It's just that some of them are a lot more, like, extensive about it than others.
And that's it for Harley. Now to take out the rest.
I mean, just honestly because I don't have him do a lot, since I don't ask him a lot of the voice acting questions a lot, do you have a character you would, like, consider yourself wanting to try, James?
I mean, it's definitely not something that's something I've always kept in mind, but...
Right.
I mean, oftentimes you'll see me just, chatter it up as the Joker every now and then, because I think that's like one of the more... Oh, hello.
No, it's my hostage. I saw him first.
Get your own.
Good thing I caught him just in time.
Yeah, seriously. But yeah, I mean, there's Joker. I mean, I think I could probably do a decent enough Cobblepot or, what was it? Killer Croc if I felt like it.
Yeah, I was about to say, I could see you being a pretty good penguin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, I guess if the mood struck me, I mean, would there really be much to really do when voicing the Riddler?
As long as you basically play it up as, like, an eccentric person that thinks he's smarter than everyone.
Right.
So basically just you naturally.
Yeah, sure.
Ah.
And with that,
Man.
Harley's revenge is more or less kaput.
Yep. So now we're going to be taking that code to release Batman. Oh, really? Dude,
Yoink.
Did you? Of course, it's always where you would let. What am I trying to say? What was I saying?
Well, she also. Well, I do know that's not the only time they did something like that, because I think she also like kept the party list for the big thing in Arkham Asylum. There,
She
too.
did.
Like Bat Father, like Bat Son.
It's her freaking go-to spot. But whatever, we got it. Let's go free him. Is that it though? Is that really like that our final boss? Like that's it?
Not quite.
There is more to it. Like, I will say that's technically the last big, like, what would I say?
That's the last Predator section.
Yeah, there is more that we have to do, but for right now, we're just focusing on trying to get Batman out.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh, hello.
It's our welcoming party.
I love the idea of, oh crap, Titan guy's back.
God damn it.
I love the idea that these guys all showed up and like the leader's like, now don't worry, I've been rehearsing this all morning. I'm ready to give this big old like speech. Hey, rup. And just you don't even give him any chance. Just get right into it.
Dang it! I spent weeks on perfecting that speech.
Bogus. Anyway, sorry. But I mean, okay. So since you started, Jordy, do you have a character that you wanted to try? I'll admit and apologize in advance that the female cast list of Batman is not as vast.
Diverse.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not as grand.
Like, I feel like as far as, like, big noticeable female characters, you pretty much hit the 2 big ones already. Or 3 if you count Catwoman.
The only other ones I can think of, the only other, like, legitimately, the only other female villain I can think of, apart from maybe Ivy, would be, crap, what's the name of that woman, what's the name of that villain who's trapped in, who's, like, her body, like, de-aged?
Oh, you mean Baby Doll?
Yeah, that's the only other one I could think of, maybe.
Yeah.
There aren't that many female villains.
No,
Or
not
at least
really.
a lot that are, like, really diverse from each other.
Or, you know, not like literal C-list villains.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly,
I
I feel like in terms of female villains, she probably would have to like resort to digging through C-list if she wants to have someone other than the big 3.
Well, I was also gonna say I also didn't mean just villains. I meant like heroes, villains, any of the Batman characters, really.
I'd be interested to hear you try Oracle.
Oh, I wouldn't mind
that'd be
trying
neat.
Oracle or Batgirl. Sure.
Actually, one that I have in mind, she's not technically a Batman character, but she does get, like, associated with the Bat family a lot. I could see you being a pretty good Huntress.
Huntress. Okay.
Yeah, she's basically another, like, solo DC character that's she's kind of like a no-power vigilante, kind of like Batman, but she uses, like a crossbow and has a bit of an aggression issue.
Okay.
Like, honestly, like, I feel like if you've seen, like, episodes of, like, Justice League with her in it, it'll give you a good idea as to what she's like. Ha!
Yeah, I haven't seen that many episodes of Justice League, except for probably the ones with Joker and Harley in them. Like with the Royal Flush Gang.
Very gentle, machinations.
Don't worry, he made it out alive. Bunt!
Good thing it was just weakened enough. Otherwise, why couldn't you just do that in the first place?
Yeah.
What kept you?
Actually, you know what? There was another
No.
character that I did voice. Even though she's not fully in the Batman series, Ace from the Royal Flush Gang.
Oh yeah, well, she is technically a Batman Beyond character.
Yeah.
Alright, now, we have...
Save the cops. I'll handle
Okay, so now at this point, sorry Logan, but we are pretty much gonna have to be Batman for the rest of this. While
Alright.
Robin is off taking care and making sure the cops make it out alive, we as Batman are gonna have to hurry and defuse all 3 of these bombs that Harley has throughout the section of the steel mill.
examine it.
Well, this is easy enough. Just go from bomb to bomb, deactivate, and unplug.
Well, this first one is easy enough. However, by this point, we're on a bit of a time crunch.
Stolen from the GCPD lockup last week.
Open the door, Batman.
Hasn't changed.
I have to wait for his dialogue.
Open the door. You can talk and open the door, Batman.
Yeah, just open the damn door.
You're on a time crunch now. And
Literally.
Now I'm on a time crunch.
Okay, get out.
figure out how to open this door eventually.
And actually, yeah, that was another thing. Like, that exit I'm technically not supposed to go after because that's the way to the cops. I have to go to the direction of the bombs.
Yeah, that's the way that Robin went through Batman. That is a bat-free zone.
So we don't
Right.
have to fight these guys, right? We can just run right past them.
You could if you want to. I just did because, honestly, it's not like they take that much time to, like, take care of.
Show off. Ah well, no worries. We got all the equipment to use. I guess this is it. Yeah. No, this has been a fun little ride, and I guess since she wasn't there for oh, actually, no, wait, that's right, because this is where we show the credit sequence in this one.
Yes, although I will say, as a bit of a heads up, Arkham City's credits are a lot longer than Asylum, so I don't show all of them off.
Fair.
That's fair.
I guess I was gonna say since you weren't
Also,
there
there's no
for
there's no pretty pictures to accompany them.
Darn.
Yeah.
So I guess
There is some... I was about to say, there is some music that plays, and fun thing is that, like, in Harley's Revenge, you actually get a completely different track that plays than in the main campaign, but after the music goes off, it's just pure silence for the rest of it.
I forget if it's just something that's in the credits in general, or subtle. But I don't know if it's something with just the general credits, or if it's something that can play between both of them, or one or the other. But doesn't Joker have some sort of solo in one of them?
Oh yeah, he sings Only You. That's only in the base game.
Gotcha.
Jeez. But yeah, since we're getting close down to the end, I was going to ask her, since she wasn't there for the finale, Jordy, what did you think of
She was there
Arkham's-
for the finale.
I was there for the finale.
With
I
that,
just wasn't there
with
for
Joker?
the. I wasn't there for part 15.
Yeah,
Oh.
she was
No,
there
you
for
were
the
there
big
for
beaver
15.
part.
Oh, I meant 14. Sorry, 14. I'm
Yeah,
getting
so-
my
so
numbers
we just-
confused.
We
You're
just did
fine.
15 like a few minutes ago.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. Yeah, okay, I got mixed up. I know she wasn't here the part before.
Batman
last.
can't do math.
Sorry. Well,
Math murdered my parents.
You are
let's go,
okay.
let's go get ourselves out of here. Move, mush, run,
Rest. Rest.
All right, that's enough shooting.
Is there some sort of mathematician sort of villain in the DC universe that
Yes.
could totally take Joe
the-
Chill's place?
Well, not like straight up mathematician, but there is a character called the Calculator that basically is kind of like you probably remember him because he's also in Brave and the Bold. He was the one that basically helps like set up and finance villains with their schemes. He's the one that basically lives with his mother in his basement.
Trying to think of any other characters. I mean, would you count Brainiac as that, or no? Brainiac's just kind of smart in general.
Well, no, Brainiac's kind of a whole different kind of beast in terms of like superhero villains.
He's literally a super. He's literally just the DC's equivalent to the HAL 9000.
Yeah.
To a point where in the animated series, their actor pretty much told them to imitate HAL 9000.
Oh, really?
Subtle. Also, I'm gonna be completely honest. Maybe it's just because I've known the design longer than, but I kind of prefer the animated series, like the animated universe take on a Brainiac compared to what he actually looks like.
Oh yeah, it definitely is a lot more alien looking compared to his other designs. I don't blame you for
Well,
that.
the other one's literally just, green skin alien man.
Right. Whereas in that, I like the more. It almost made me think of more like Ultron, where he is. Just, oh, speaking of Ultron, freaking suddenly Joker bots she has.
Yeah, basically, in case you probably saw, but she basically took a lot of the Wonder City robots and pretty much repainted them for her little shrine here. And now you do have to fight them. However, you've noticed that, like, unlike the other mooks who still have that whole watch out, like, thing above Batman's head, these guys kind of operate under New Game Plus logic in that you won't get an indicator for when they're about to hit you.
Ooh.
Oh, jeez. Well, I mean, you can still kind of see when they're gonna hit you. It's more subtle. You actually have to watch their body movements now and see when they're like winding up for an attack.
Indeed.
don't
And
mind.
you also have to be careful because, like, during this whole thing, Harley will try to shoot you. However, you can be able to trick her into shooting the robots.
Like right there. Nice. Okay. Oh, hey. Rude.
Well, at the very least, it's a robot. So again, they're free game for the Batman.
Yep. Whoop.
Nice, man. Those dodge rolls. Yeah. Thank you, logic. I mean, to be fair, this game is already rated M.
No, it's
No,
not.
it's not. It's T.
This is T when they're calling people dumbasses and like blowing people up.
Listen,
it's like-
people call people dumbasses in PG-13 movies. This is nothing new.
Man,
I was about to say, like, Night is the only game in the series that's rated M, and honestly, I feel like it kind of doesn't even deserve that M rating because it's not really that much more grisly than the other Arkham games.
wonder what made it rated M. I'll look that up. But
I
you know,
think it was the opening involving someone under an influence shooting people.
probably. Uh-oh.
Surprise!
But yeah, no, I like Brainiac in the animated show. It makes him look more robotic and more like, sci-fi, stuff.
Dope.
Which is pretty much what he was. He was literally tech made by the Kryptonians.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, in a way,
My toy.
Actually, now that I think about it, I think Nintendo pretty much ripped off the entire point of Brainiac when they made Mother Brain.
Yeah.
Honestly, that could be the case. I figured it was just something from Aliens that they ripped off, because
Well, that
Metroid
too,
is
that
very
too.
clearly Alien homaged.
Ooh!
I'm just talking about
Gordon!
Mother Brain specifically. Ow.
Oh boy. But thankfully, Batman and Harley made it.
I'm explosive dynamic. I don't know where that came. Oh.
My suit is explosion-proof.
Again, Kevlar, bitch.
Well, could Kevlar protect you from explosions?
Definitely the impact, but not the heat.
I thought he was with you.
Uh-oh.
Well, that's right. We still hadn't heard back from Robin when he went back to get the other cops.
It hurts, don't it?
What
You
have
shut up.
done?
Now you know how it feels.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh,
What? Oh, there he is.
he's all right.
Just in the nick of time.
Did you miss me? Where are the cops?
There they are in the back.
They're safe.
And Batman's still
Here.
really preoccupied by something.
Is he all right?
Again, it's implied that, like, basically he's still mulling over what happened throughout this entire game, so he's a little bit more moodier than usual. And on that note, wondering if Batman's really going to be okay after this, that is now proper the end of Batman Arkham City.
Yeah, and we're never gonna. And I mean, we won't be able to tell for sure until the next true successor. But we can at least see how this whole thing came about in the next game. I guess I'll be tackling.
Yeah, because, just to give people, the main reason I'm having Logan help me out with Arkham Origins is because I technically don't own it. Like, the only time I ever played it is when I borrowed it from my friend, so I was only able to play it for that amount of times, and like I said, I don't own it, and I can't even do Arkham Knight even if I want to, because I don't own a PS4.
And God forbid you try to play the PC version.
Yeah. But that's something we could talk about for whenever we do start playing those games. As far as Arkham City goes, I still stand by my opinion that this is definitely the best in the series. Like, I love how much of an escalation that was from the first game. I love all the new features, all the new gadgets, characters, and just overall just how much more expansive and versatile it is compared to the first game in terms of, like, Batman's moveset and what all you do in it. The story is definitely pretty engaging, and definitely has a lot of fun moments here and there. The only thing that I would say it has going against it, and I can understand why people would prefer Asylum instead, is that, like, as fun as a lot of the side missions are, some of them can be a little, like, over-bloated or overstay their welcome, so I can understand people being a little turned off by that if they want to, like, fully 100% the game.
Yeah, most especially notable when you're going for all the Riddler shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna look up right now just to prepare myself mentally for what I'm gonna do. A whole thing of of Origins, like what all the stuff I gotta do for that.
Well, basically, Origins, like I said, the Riddler stuff is a little bit more compact than it is in City, but again, the payoff's not that worth it. Some of the side missions, I would say, kind of, like, vary in terms of quality. Like, I think the only side missions that come close to match...
I almost thought you were just gonna put the freaking Ferris Bueller thing, like, it's over. The credits are go home.
Just go.
But yeah, I would say, like, I think the only side missions that really come close to matching the ones in City for Origins are the most wanted ones, where you go after all of the other assassins that aren't technically tied to the story.
That is still so weird that they don't make you go through all of them as far as part of the plot.
Yeah, it is weird, but once again, we could talk more about that when we get to Origins. But as far as City goes, what are your final thoughts on it, Jordan?
I mean, I thought it was pretty good. Like, it was quite a different turn compared to, Arkham Asylum. Like, this is the one thing that you wouldn't expect to happen to Joker, like, after all these years, because they've been doing the same thing over and over again, and then this happens, and you're just like, oh my god, it's over.
Well, I mean,
Like,
technically killing him isn't exactly a new idea either. It's just a matter of they try to keep him dead.
well, yeah, obviously, but still.
But yeah, I still get what you're saying. Is there anything else you want to say about it before we pass it off to either Logan or James?
I mean, just in general, I think it's got really good potential, and that, this was a game that was a pretty good turning point for the series. And I like the voice cast overall. What more can I say?
Do you want to go next, Logan?
This definitely was a huge step up from Arkham Asylum, and easily, I think, same with how we've been talking with other things, like how Sly 2 basically gave that franchise its identity after the first, how Ratchet and Clank 2 pretty much established where the franchise, the formula of the franchise would follow from that point forward. I think definitely Arkham City is, to the Arkham franchise, the progenitor of almost all of the mechanics and all of the pacing that it would take moving forward, with the open world and vast locales to visit. So I thought this was really cool. Still, this was a fun game to see put together. Something I will admit, I'm going to be honest and say something I admit, one of my biggest critiques about those locales, however, which I don't know if Origins is going to solve that, or if it's just the trickiest thing with me and with it is because it has to be, at night, because it's Batman. You can't have a Batman game in the middle of the day. It would just look silly. And it's supposed to be, Gotham City, it's in the name Gotham. It's supposed to be a, gloomy, dreary setting. I can't help but form the opinion that at least when I'm watching, when we're doing the open world moving around, without a map, I think the place can really start to blur together, and like every street corner will start to look the same to me.
I feel like, for me personally, I don't think it's really that hard for me, because I feel like each section of Gotham has enough unique landmarks and whatnot to make them feel distinct from each other. But as far as like the overall aesthetic of Gotham, I can kind of understand your concern. And I will say, in terms of Origins kind of has this thing where it's like, half of it is basically the exact same map from Arkham City, and the other half is all the new stuff that they made exclusively for Origins. But it also takes place during Christmas time, so everything has a bit of like a wintry aesthetic. So I'm not quite sure if that would like be like a nice little palette cleanser compared to what City has. But I like to think that Origins does try to like spice things up a bit visually in terms of like traversing around Gotham and whatnot.
Okay.
What about you, James?
I'm. Where do I even begin? I will definitely say that I pretty much can see why this game became the big success that it was, because especially coming after a game that was already considered the best Batman game at that time, pretty much we have this game more or less building off of what made it work and expanding upon it, and for the most part, I can definitely see why this is often considered, again, the best Batman game of all time, because it does do a lot. That's very much right. I didn't really follow this one all that closely after, giving Batman Arkham Asylum a shot prior. Well, most of my experience with the game was mostly seeing other people play on, like, SGB or whatnot, and just from what I saw of it, a part of me does feel a little bad for, skipping out on it, but on the other hand, it's like, this isn't entirely my cup of tea when it comes to video games in general, so that's kind of why I just, leave it to others to have their fun with it. And yeah, that's about all I can really say on it. It's a fun time, assuming you are a fan of the Batman. Mm-hmm. I mean, heck, maybe if you're not even a fan of the Batman, maybe it's like gritty open world games, then yeah, it's again, say for the very much gritty aesthetic, it definitely has stood the test of time better than most other games of its type.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I would still argue that because of the source material, I feel like it has more of an excuse to get away with that gritty aesthetic than most games released around that time, but I can still understand that, like, regardless of reason or not, it's not exactly something a lot of people can jive with. But
I will say this much, though. Say if we were in a future where WB Games weren't committed to making the rest of their lineup of games into freaking live service stuff, like they're doing with
Suicide Squad.
With Suicide Squad. A part of me would have been curious to see if ever, like, Rocksteady, were given the go-ahead to make, like, an Arkham game entirely based around the animated series.
Well, honestly, in many aspects, you can kind of consider the Arkhamverse to be kind of like a spiritual continuation of the animated series, since between the voice cast, the writing staff, and like certain mannerisms and whatnot, it really does kind of feel like a slightly more mature, like, feature-length episode of the animated series.
I mean, that's true. Most especially for the first two games, because afterwards they kind of couldn't really keep Paul Dini worth a damn, and you could sort of tell that's part of the reason why those aren't quite as memorable.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll give Origins some slack because I feel like it does enough interesting things to keep it from being completely stagnant. But again, we'll learn more about that once Logan does Origins. But thank you for joining us for Arkham City. I hope you all enjoyed it. Honestly, I like to think overall this kind of came out a lot better than Asylum did in terms of just like content and just making sure everyone had their fill in on saying stuff. And thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your night.
Good night.
Good night.
On the Batman.